We want to go straight to weather because there are some storms moving in right now. Hi, Betsy.
Yeah, things are really starting to get cantankerous here as these thunderstorms continue to move in. Huge plume of heavy weather moving through northeast Ohio right now from north to south. We're going to go first west, though. We have a pretty significant situation setting up. Not only do we have high wind that is moving through areas of northern Lorain County into North Olmsted, Rocky River, and Fairview Park, but we also have that hail we were just talking about. You can see all the lightning. And remember, lightning is oftentimes kind of the harbinger that there's hail going on. We just showed you not too long ago this hail core that was just moving through the North Olmsted area and into Rocky River. I've gotten a couple people on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot that told me that they had hail, big hail and high winds. I just got this video in from a friend.
It got worse.
Listen.
That's hail that you're hearing in the background.
Can you hear the hail hitting? That's pretty impressive. Let me play it for you one more time because that is just...
It got worse. That's hail.
Those are some big hits. So obviously we have concerns that not only are we dealing with the high winds and this hail, but once you kind of put all of it together with the very heavy rain that is falling, we're talking about near undrivable conditions on 480 and 90 right now, specifically going right by the airport. If you have any travel plans later on this evening, this hail core is bad news for the airport. They will have to inspect the planes most likely if it's sizable hail. So that is something to kind of keep in mind. And don't forget, cars, not a good situation with a lot of big hail. So that's something to report. Also out here in Sheffield Village, we've had some reports that we have had some hail that has been going through there too. Keeping an eye on the wind side of things, we have seen some wind surges that have been coming through, upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour at times. We've had a couple reports of that going through areas of Sheffield Village over into North Olmsted too. It looks like we're starting to see that coming down just a little bit, but we're still dealing with some very powerful thunderstorms at this point, and that is expected to continue here off to the east too, where we're dealing with some powerful thunderstorms that have been moving through. We had that destructive severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. That's kind of a specialized severe thunderstorm warning that has been allowed to expire, but you can see where we're seeing these brighter pinks. That's where we're getting some higher wind gusts, upwards of 50 plus miles per hour possible, and we'll check on the hail out in this area too, just because we can. Not seeing nearly as much in the way of the large hail as what we are seeing farther to the west, but you can also see some green here. That is where we have flood advisories. So not only, as I mentioned, are we dealing with the incredible amounts of wind and the big hail, but we've also got this possibility of some very heavy rain, and that can cause problems, especially in areas where we are dealing with urban environments, so a lot of concrete and whatnot, and you get things slowing down. When I'm talking about heavy rain, one product we can look at is called rain rate. Then this is measured in inches per hour. Some of these thunderstorms are producing upwards of 3-inch per hour rain rates. So if you imagine this thunderstorm is sitting over you for 20 minutes, you're still getting an inch of rain in 20 minutes. That is enough to overwhelm sewer systems and storm systems and whatnot. So we still have that possibility as we go through the rest of the evening. Just to keep folks up to date, farther to the west too, we have a severe, you know what, let me go back because I do want to update our folks out in Erie and Huron counties too. I apologize because we did have a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for them as this next little batch is starting to really rear its ugly head. That'd be this thunderstorm warning right here that does include extreme southern Erie County, so up around the Milan area. Huron, you're in this. This is going to continue to move off to the east-southeast down toward Fitchville, over toward New London, and then also farther west we have a thunderstorm that is going to be headed toward northern portions of Richland County. So a heads up for you friends in Shelby and Ontario and Mansfield that this will be coming your way. Let me put a quick track on some of this stuff because as we have been watching, these have been, the thunderstorms themselves are moving west to east, but the line is pressing south. So I'm kind of trying to split the difference. And so putting a track on it that's a little bit more to the southeast. So take this with a little bit of a grain of salt. But Fitchville, New London, as mentioned, Sullivan and Homer. Now we're going to start to tap into southwestern sections of Medina County, out toward the Lodi area, eventually down into Creston in Wayne County, and then of course also farther to the east where we're dealing with this intense thunderstorm that has been moving through portions of North Olmsted and Fairview Park. I can hear the wind kicking up here downtown again. We have a drain pipe on the ceiling, and the wind once it gets to about 40 or 50 miles per hour, it sounds like somebody's blowing across the top of a jug. So that's how we gauge things here in the studio, how bad it is outside. We also have some leaks that are taking place. But these intense thunderstorms continue to move to the east. Now, this is that specific part that was the high wind and the hail core through Parma Heights, possibly Old Brooklyn, and then into portions of Cleveland Heights, and eventually over toward the other county line on the east side of things, which of course would be Solon and Chagrin Falls. And then we also have those very heavy winds and rains that continue farther out to the east. All right, now let's take a look at how this is going to continue to play out through the rest of the evening. The line continues to press south and east as we head through the rest of the night. By about 8, 9 o'clock, we should be rolling this into the Akron area. Worcester, heads up for you. You are also going to be getting this, as well as Canton eventually, Youngstown. Once we hit 10 p.m., we should really start to be on the backside of this for most of the area. Tuscarawas and Carroll counties, you are still technically not in the severe thunderstorm watch, but that could be amended later on this evening. And of course, we don't necessarily have to have a watch in order to have severe thunderstorms. Can we take a CSU cam, Spanks, our director, our amazing director, Mike, who we love to call Spanks, because I can hear the wind just coming through downtown, and that is a live look for you. Downtown Cleveland on the CSU cam, that camera is racking. And you can, of course, see the incredible amount of rain that is coming down in this, too. It is a brutal night out there. All right, so between 5 and 9 for all of northern Ohio, we're still dealing with this severe weather, the high wind, the hail, the flooding threat. Tornadoes are a possibility. We're just kind of monitoring that. I think most of this is going to end up being straight line wind. Still looking at 8,400 plus people without power right now in Northeast Ohio at last check. That will likely be going up. But Jimmy and Laura, the best news I can possibly tell anyone is that it is going to continue to get better. And Jason is going to give us the very latest on that part of the forecast now.
Thank you so much, Betsy. I want to start out by showing you at least satellite and radar currently, taking it up from Betsy here as we passing off to the baton. Notice this, behind the front as it moving through, they're clear skies. Things are really turning off the faucet here across north and western areas behind this frontal boundary. But one of the things that we're really starting to see here is that activity really start to bubble up across the area. Back towards the north and west, you can see where all the alerts are here, going from upstate New York all the way through portions, at least half of the Buckeye State, even back towards Indiana here. That northwest breeze is what's going to cruise right on here and also bring in that drier weather behind that area of low pressure as we switch off to an area of high pressure. As a result, look at our rain chances. They go down significantly once we get into Saturday as well as also on Sunday. Some of this 40% you see here is likely going to be confined to the first half of the day. Now, as we open up the gate for you tomorrow, temperatures widespread are going to be in the 60s here. A much cooler, much more comfortable air mass will take course across Northeast Ohio. Into the evening hours we go. You see our temperatures around 9 p.m., some 60s, some low 70s. But tomorrow on the hour, a bit of a changeover in terms of our weather story. Temperatures throughout the afternoon only topping out in the mid to low 70s here. So great news for you. Weekend, Saturday is a big thumbs up. Sunday is also a big thumbs up, as well as we move towards Monday here. So here's that Union Home Mortgage 7 as you're planning out the rest of your week. Into the weekend we go. Sunny and perfect for us, only topping out around 80 degrees for us, so below average temperatures on Saturday. We start to get in that near normal territory for Sunday, but still a lot of mainly sunny skies. A couple pops possible on Monday, but notice each and every day temperatures are warming, and by this time next week we could likely be around the 90-degree threshold, but that also brings with it another storm chance. And of course, we got plenty of time to talk about that. Guys?
All right, Jason, thanks very much. And Betsy, too. We'll be right back.